ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has revealed intrigues that ensued in the 2017 presidential election and the lead-up to the controversial oath-taking of Raila Odinga. Mudavadi details the bold faces NASA principals had to wear in public support of one-sided decisions made by Odinga, including withdrawal from the repeat election, formation of the National Resistance Movement, and the swearing-in. Here are more details now, as brought to you by Sam Gituku.
In his autobiography titled Soaring Above the Storms of Passion, Musalia Mudavadi gives an account of political history he has witnessed since joining politics at the age of 28. One of the most significant narrations being of the controversial 2017 presidential election. Mudavadi now confessing that even though he appeared alongside Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula and Raila Odinga to declare withdrawal from the repeat presidential election of October 26, 2017, Odinga had made a solo decision.
We hereby withdraw our candidature with immediate effect. Yours faithfully, signed Honorable Raila Odinga, Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
This decision was somewhat abrupt. When the candidate had made the decision, because he was our candidate, it became very difficult to proceed in any other way.
Mudavadi stating that when Odinga announced he had an earth-shaking announcement to be made on the eve of the repeat election, it was never shared with the principals. Mudavadi saying that a High Court decision that all candidates in the August 8th election be on the repeat ballot threw them off balance. He says, quote, the return of these people on the presidential ballot paper particularly messed us up, end of quote. Subsequently, NASA coalition called for nationwide demonstrations calling for electoral reforms. In the meantime, the newly sworn-in parliament was amending electoral laws to preempt a resignation of IBC chair Wafula Chebukati or other commissioners, such that his deputy or any other commissioner would declare presidential election result. On October 18, 2017, Commissioner Rosalie Nakombe resigned, saying it was impossible for a fair election in the then environment. And then on the eve of the repeat election, the 25th of October 2017, Odinga, who had been keeping his supporters guessing, was at it again. It is the day, according to Mudavadi, he was to make an earth-shaking announcement. The book saying that the NASA principals had been monitoring from TV sets at Mudavadi's office events at Uhuru Park of NASA supporters waiting for the big announcement. Mudavadi in the book saying that the principals inquired from Odinga what his message was. Mudavadi says, quote, amidst mouthfuls of tea and peanuts, he announced that he would tell Kenyans he would not recognize Uhuru after the repeat election to be conducted the following day. But Fort Kenya's Moses Wetangula jumped in saying, quote, but Tinga, that is what you've been saying all along. What is new about that? That cannot be the big announcement you've been promising the world, end of quote. Even though Odinga attempted to elaborate his assertion, he would later at the event unveil the transformation of NASA into the National Resistance Movement. Mudavadi saying this was totally unexpected.
The book is in its context, and it does indicate in areas that perhaps the decisions at certain stages were not decisions that may have served the NASA interests appropriately.
And then after the repeat election and the outcome that led to President Kenyatta swearing in, Mudavadi detailed several false stats that showed a disjointed coalition whose principals were struggling to keep up with their leader Raila Odinga. In the book, Mudavadi intimates that Odinga had received a visa cancellation from a key Western country, with US Ambassador Robert Godek threatening that similar action was not off the cards from the US should NASA have continued with the swearing in. This could explain why Mudavadi, Kalonzo and Wetangula kept off the swearing in.
Raila Amolo Odinga.
Mudavadi offering details of how Odinga broke his promises to reach out to the three on the day of his oath-taking, on a day that the three had planned to go to Uhuru Park to announce abandoning the swearing-in plot, but Odinga went ahead of them.
We also had a challenge of holding the broader NASA fraternity together. And during that extremely difficult time, it was not easy to go out there and present an image of extreme anxiety the way it was, and to the extent that you would perhaps depress all your supporters out there.
Mudavadi also tells of how the handshake between Odinga and President Kenyatta was a surprise and left several unanswered questions from NASA parties. Even then, they appeared before the cameras to show solidarity, knowing too well there was none.
The ones who were talking a lot at that time were from ODM. Yes. They were expressing concerns, and they were also expressing concerns of the frustration, which I've highlighted there, that the whole process of dealing with the various litigation cases of different people being arrested and then arraigned in court in different parts of the country was putting a strain on the lawyers who had offered to do some pro bono work. Yeah.
The 400-page autobiography is set to be launched mid this month. Sam Gituku, Citizen TV, Nairobi.